Take a walk through Copenhagen, and you'll find dedicated cycle lanes, pristine sidewalks, and zero litter. It's an environment that hums with order and efficiency. Compare that to the sensory overload of a typical Indian intersection. The gridlock is absolute, lane markings are ignored, and the noise is constant. When local politicians and leaders are asked why this happens, they often fall back on a convenient excuse that the public lacks the cultural or genetic capacity for civic sense. They blame the people. But there's a glaring paradox here. These same citizens keep their own homes immaculately clean, and when they step onto modern transit systems, like Delhi's metro platforms, they queue perfectly and follow the rules without hesitation. Society engineers civic sense through habit. When that habit fails to take hold, it's usually because of three specific social barriers. The first barrier is a mindset rooted in caste. For centuries, sanitation in India has been forced upon the most marginalized communities. We still see citizens submerged in dark gutters, performing manual scavenging, a direct result of this historical division of labor. This history creates a psychological distance. Many in the upper and middle classes view the act of cleaning as shameful or beneath them, expecting someone else to manage their waste. Contrast this with the Japanese concept of osoji. In Japan, young students scrub their own classroom floors together every day. They use cleaning as a tool for equality, teaching shared responsibility from a young age. Decoupling the physical act of cleaning from social status removes the primary barrier to shared public hygiene. The second barrier is the total absence of civic infrastructure. It is difficult to practice public hygiene when the state fails to provide the basic hardware. You can't expect people to stop littering when there are no accessible, functional toilets or simple dustbins in sight. Human behavior adapts to the physical environment. If a street is neglected and covered in garbage, it signals that littering is the accepted social norm. One piece of debris quickly turns into a mountain of unmanaged waste. But the reverse is also true. A pristine, well-maintained environment creates intense social pressure. When a space is spotless, people are hesitant to be the first person to ruin it. This image shows a reverse vending machine, which illustrates how some nations engineer positive behavior. Instead of just punishing failure, countries like Denmark provide a financial reward for exchanging an empty plastic bottle. The public cannot be blamed for failing to participate in a system that hasn't been built. The third barrier is a deficit in empathy. As public spaces break down, the wealthiest citizens isolate themselves. Rather than fixing the public square, they retreat into hyper-clean, privately funded luxury bubbles. There is a stark physical wall separating these billionaire fortresses from the crumbling, polluted realities sitting right outside their windows. In Denmark, they practice samfundssind, or social-mindedness. It is the willingness to prioritize the broader community's well-being over purely selfish, isolated interests. Without this shared concern for the public space, those with the most political and financial power have little reason to demand clean, functional areas for everyone. So how do we fix this? Many suggest massive fines or physical punishments, but these fail if the underlying systems are broken. This flowchart shows how to actually engineer change. First, governments must provide the physical hardware: usable public toilets, organized sorting bins, and clear urban planning. Second, rules must be consistently enforced. Fines just need to be mathematically guaranteed for anyone who breaks a rule. Third, the education system must teach the dignity of labor, explicitly dismantling the casteist stigmas attached to cleaning. These specific shifts in infrastructure and enforcement have already transformed nations like Rwanda into the cleanest in Africa, with marked crosswalks and orderly pedestrian traffic. Civic sense is the result of accessible systems, consistent rules, and a shared concern for the community.